Congresswoman Marsha Blackburn responded to another horrific shooting that we had. This time it was in California. A dozen people were killed by a gunman. And, you know, this actually happened at a strange time where I didn't end up covering it on the show. I forget exactly the day it happened, but for whatever reason, I didn't have or I had already had the entire show prepped. And so I didn't squeeze it in my prep at the last minute, so I haven't spoken about it yet. But this is the sad reality of America, is that there are so many mass shootings that it's like, you know, I do a news and politics show, and it's easy for me to just be like, oh, shit, I missed it. But it was another one, and there's going to be another one, in a couple weeks, because that's the point we're at. It's like a monthly thing where it's like, oh yeah, by the way, like a dozen people were massacred in a senseless act of violence. I think this one was at a bar. It happens so much, and it's mind-boggling, and it's scary, and our politicians, you know, somebody said it, I forget who, but it's like, when we had the Sandy Hook massacre in Newtown, and we didn't do anything, it's like, oh, that was it. That was it. That was the tipping point, where it's like, you either do something now or it's never going to get done, and nothing got done. Well, Marsha Blackburn went on mainstream media immediately after the shooting. She was asked about it. Look at her response.
You bring up the shooting. This gunman was 29 years old. He drove his mother's car to this bar before he walked in and opened fire, killing 12, including the sergeant who charged in to try to protect those college students, many of these college students, young people. As a senator-elect now, I mean, what can we do? This was the deadliest shooting that we've seen in this country since Parkland. I mean, what do we do?
Yeah. What we do is say, how do we make certain that we protect the Second Amendment and protect our citizens? We've always done that in this country. Mental health issues need to be addressed. And of course, Sandra, as you know, the House has voted for putting in place a red flag system that would deal with mental health for law enforcement. A couple of weeks ago, I was sitting down with some of our law enforcement, and we talked about some of these issues, how as juveniles, some individuals have issues, and then that needs to become transparent when they go away or they're in school, and there needs to be a way for them to get the help they need. No one wants an individual who is a danger to themselves or others to have a firearm.
Okay, well, to your last point there, that, nobody wants somebody that has these issues to get a firearm, then why not come out in support of a universal background check bill? Now, she's against that. She's 100% against a universal background check bill. But that's the only way to achieve the thing that she says she cares about. Well, I mean, look, you got to keep the guns out of the wrong hands. Okay, then support a universal background check bill. But guys, this is the doublespeak that drives me fucking crazy. Because they all get to, like, she gets to go out there and try to virtue signal, like, no, I'm totally for I'm against shootings. Of course I'm against shootings. Don't be crazy. But I am going to slap down every, even minor attempt to try to cut back on the extreme number of shootings that we have. So then, sorry, when my rebuttal to you is, oh, you say you're against these shootings, but you're not willing to take any action at all to fix it, that's correct when I say that. So you can give all the platitudes and cliches and empty rhetoric that you want, but when push comes to shove, you're not in favor of doing anything at all to try to fix the problem, even the thing that you say needs fixing. Like, come on, we all agree on keeping guns out of the wrong hands. No, obviously we do not, because the answer to that is universal background check bill, and you're not in favor of it. That's the first point. The second point is, one of the dodges that you often hear from Republican politicians after a shooting happens is, it's a mental health crisis. It's totally a mental health crisis. Well, the first response to that is, well, Obamacare allocated money for mental health. You're against Obamacare. So if it's a mental health crisis, again, why are you against the solutions to it? Okay, you could be in favor of the Medicaid expansion. That would be one way to try to help chip away and fix this mental health crisis. But no, they don't support Obamacare. They don't support the Medicaid expansion. But they say, yeah, man, I know this is a mental health crisis. That's what it is. Okay, so if I was Senator Kulinski would propose a bill immediately that says, oh, we're going to do, I'm in favor of Medicare for all, and I propose that bill. But also what I would do is say, oh, we're going to treat mental health like physical health, and we're going to do a single-payer system for mental health as well. So you know how you got your hospital or your clinic nearby? Well, there's also going to be a mental health facility that's funded with tax dollars, and you're going to be able to go in there, and it's going to be totally free if you need to see a therapist or you need some sort of medication in order to, because you're hearing fucking voices or whatever the cases are. You feel like you're violent and, oh my God, I want to kill somebody. There's a mental health place you can walk right in, cost $0 and you get the treatment that you need. You going to support that bill? You going to support a single payer for mental health? You going to do that, Marsha Blackburn? No, you're not. So you're utterly full of shit. It's a mental health crisis that I'm going to then proceed to do absolutely nothing about at all by any stretch of the imagination. Pathetic you are. And then the worst part is, I'm sure you caught it at the beginning there because this part blew up. It, was big on the internet. Her initial response to the question of what are we going to do about all these shootings? She said, we're going to protect the Second Amendment and our citizens. So the first thing she brought up was Second Amendment. What are we going to do for all these shootings? We're going to protect the Second Amendment. Now, I think that she really thinks that that's a good idea and that will somehow prevent shootings, even though the empirical evidence is in the opposite direction, 100%. But here's something else I know about Marsha Blackburn. The NRA gave her $1.2 million in campaign contributions over the course of her career. So not only does she believe what she's saying, which again, I think she does, but on top of that, she's just bought to make that argument. She's bought. She's a puppet of the NRA.